Okay guys, today I'm here to learn about how to grow your Amazon business to $5 million. And I'm super excited to learn from two very experienced Amazon sellers who I've got to know in the Houston area. Before we kind of jump into this, let's learn a little bit about them. Guys, thank you so much for having me. And thank you for taking time out of your busy days and also your businesses to share this knowledge. So if anyone doesn't know, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are and also your business as well?
Yeah, what's up? What's up, guys? I'm Anthony Bui-Tran. This is my best friend, Chris. But basically, we started kind of our Amazon journeys together. He does mainly wholesale. I do wholesale private label. And it's funny, we just kind of learn from each other. And I'm trying to scale to 5 million. Chris just hit 5 million. Congrats, bro.
Thank you.
And, that's what we're going to talk about today.
Fantastic.
Yep. Name's Chris. We've known each other since like college days. He started private label. He taught me how to do the private label. Then I quickly moved into wholesale back in 2017. And since then, I've done about 12, 13 million in sales since 2017.
Yeah, we were fraternity brothers, but funny fact is I taught, he was like the one guy I taught about.
Oh, like 20?
I know 20 people about, you have your friends that are like, hey, put me on or teach me what you're doing. And you teach them and then they just don't do it after a week or two or a month or whatever, right? Chris is the only one that stuck around and did it.
I ran with it.
Yeah, he ran with it, right? And funny enough, Chris, I give him a lot of credit for this, but Chris was the one to quit his job first. And because he did that, it inspired me to eventually quit my job too.
He realized hey, wait, if Chris can do it, I can do it too. And he was like, okay, bye.
Yeah. But now we are here, right?
Yeah.
5 years later, so we're still
and
doing it
we still
full
help
time.
each other, it's just great, We're always...
And it's amazing. And if I understand, obviously, Chris, you're doing 100% wholesale right now, is that right?
Yes, 100% wholesale.
And last year, obviously, you just said it's the 5 million, is that?
Yeah, 5 million. So, but what I also do is try to coach people that want to get into the Amazon game. And then what I do now is also sell them inventory. So it's a quick flip. So it's really the wholesale business. So that's what happens, right? When you get to Amazon, it can open so many more doors. Being a wholesaler doesn't mean now I have to just wholesale on Amazon. Yeah. Which is where my bread and butter is, but now I can also wholesale to other people.
Yeah, sometimes Chris will have extra inventory and he'll just be like, Anthony, you want this? ROI is this, metrics are good, it'll be easy to flip. And I'm hey, okay, I was like, all right, I'll buy it. I mean, why not,
If you're still gonna make 20% profit, why not, right? So
and I don't have to do anything, he'll prep it, just ship it in for me. I'm like, all right, cool,
And I know, obviously, we were here over the weekend and I think you found out that you were selling on the same listing, didn't you? You're like, man, you got my product.
Oh, yeah. But that tends to happen. So many
sometimes
distributors,
it happens,
yeah.
I'd rather it's me and him sharing the buy box than I don't know some other rando,
That's
right?
Yeah.
At least it's someone I know,
No, fantastic. Obviously, well done. And I think it's interesting because obviously you're now going to 5 million. So you're really close, aren't you, at the moment?
Yeah, last year I hit 4 million. I thought we were going to hit 5, but some things just didn't pan out the way it was supposed to go. But, we're growing, so I can't really complain.
Don't feel bad. I thought I was going to 8 million and I did 5.2, but...
Well, I'd be very happy with your numbers.
But I think it's also because the COVID really helped us. And so from 2020 to 2021, you're like, 100%, higher than last year. So, but it's all about scaling and figuring out how to keep growing for sure.
And then Tom, you do mainly online arbitrage?
So I do, at the moment last year we did 2.2 million pounds, so 2.8 million US.
Yeah, just all
OA.
Yeah, that's
OA.
Crazy, yeah. I tried that out for a little bit first. We both started with retail arbitrage.
That's what I was gonna say, yeah.
And then I tried online arbitrage. I was like, I didn't really figure it out. And then we did wholesale and then private label. Oh, that's
actually, to be quite frank, I did retail arbitrage for at least 8 months to a year before I really got a really solid wholesale account. And even after I got a wholesale account, then what I started doing is hiring my own personal shopper because I didn't want to lose that revenue from my RA while I was growing my wholesale account. So yeah, but RA was really the first main bread and butter, but now it's wholesale.
So Anthony, if I'm right in thinking, while Chris is 100% wholesale, at the moment there's a split between private label and wholesale, is that right?
Yeah, so I primarily do private label, but I had some wholesale opportunities fall in my lap. So I was just like, why don't I just do it? The accounts are solid. We have exclusivity. So it's kind of like private label in a way. So I'm like, okay, I mean, if I have a team that can manage it for me, then why not, really?
Where are we right now, if anyone wants to know?
Oh, yeah. So right now we're at my brand new warehouse. I just went from a 2,000, 5,500 square foot warehouse. And I think Tom's going to get some B-roll of the warehouse area, the office areas and everything. And you guys can come check it out.
Fantastic. This is 5.5, is that right?
Yeah, 5,500 square feet.
It's a really good space. And obviously you've just been here a couple of weeks, if I'm right in thinking.
It's just about to be 2 months. We're still settling into it. It's a 3-year lease and whatnot. So it's a big step for me.
Yeah.
But I really like it. So it's exciting and it's nice to have
It's a
my space.
scary step too when you first get your first warehouse. But then you see the true potential.
I think that's when they're starting out, like say they're like growing, right? There's gonna be a lot of different moments in your business that you have to make a leap. Whether it's a leap to like start your business, to quit your job,
Yeah.
you know, to get your first warehouse, to place like your biggest, like, I don't know, $50,000, $100,000 wholesale order.
Yeah.
You know, like there's these moments that you just have to have the leap of faith and be like, okay, I ran the numbers and I'm most likely going to be okay. Right. And, you know, so far we're okay.
Fantastic. So I don't want to jump in too quick. So let's kind of bring it back. Today, obviously, we're here to really learn about growing your business to 5 million. Now, it's something that I'm interested in. So I want to kind of set the tone if anyone's watching. So people have been, let's just imagine someone right now, they've already been selling on Amazon for a while. Cool that they're doing 500,000 already and they want to 10x their business now. They want to get to 5 million. Talk about that. Tell me about that. What kind of things should they be thinking about? What kind of advice would you give from obviously your journeys already?
Definitely hiring the right people, having the right SOPs. And obviously still wanting to learn how to grow, surrounding yourself with other successful Amazon sellers can help you to get to that point. But just definitely like hiring like now I'm in the process of hiring a buyer so they can take over my biggest accounts. So I think that's what you need to be able to scale to over 5 million. Gotta have the right people. You gotta have the right people. Culture. Also have to have the culture involved, right? So
yeah, I agree.
I'm still learning. I'm still learning, man. I'm 31. I'm still trying to learn. I'm trying to get to 10 million, you know? But I mean, that's one of the biggest things I think to me is having meetings. Definitely having meetings, right? I've worked at a corporate job for a year and a half, so I kind of learned you gotta have your meetings, you gotta set goals. Set goals is one thing I got also from Anthony, that you gotta have your team, you gotta give goals to your teams.
Yeah. I guess for me, some other things to add on to what Chris is saying, all that is like definitely important. But when I was at say like the 500,000 mark or the million mark, and I was like, how the hell did I get to 5 million? What made it more real and tangible to me, like the thought of like even touching 5 million, right, was going to like live events. I know it's like COVID and everything, but for me, and this is why I always invited like Chris to like all these like Amazon conferences or e-commerce conferences or just like little meetups or hangouts to meet my other ecom friends, is because like once you meet like other people that are doing like 5, 10, 50, 100 mil on Amazon, it just doesn't feel as like fake, right? And you're like, oh, this actually exists. And there's like people out there really doing it. And for me, that was like a big like mind shift into it. I would also have to say you have to fall in love with learning. That's one of my characteristics that I found out about myself. And I feel like about like anyone who's like bigger than me, they also like really enjoy doing or spend time doing. I think a lot of people, especially after college, they just stop learning. No one really tells you to like keep learning. They just tell you get the job, get the wife, you know, get the white picket fence, get the dog. That's it, right? But if you want to grow, you just got to always be learning. That's how I see it. You
talk about learning. There's something that I'm not sure if this is true. There's something that I listen to. There's something like, but if you did a PhD, by the time you die, formal academic education represents 1% of your life that you've spent learning. I don't know if that's true, but what I can think about is it's still a very small proportion. We still have to keep learning throughout life. And I agree with you. My God, like they don't teach you business in university or college. So you've got to keep doing that. Chris, you talked about being around the right people. Chris, you talked about coaches, should we say, not so much coaches, but like people being around, experiencing, immersing yourself around people who know what they're doing. How important has that been for your journey?
Super important. I mean, you're sharing golden nuggets. You're sharing like what helped you, like, you know, what you did to do this. Oh, that's how you should hire people? Oh, that's how you should structure the salary for a buyer? You give 1.5% of the sales of that account? Oh, okay, now I know how I can approach people. I think that's what really helped, you know?
Yeah, it all adds up, like the compounding knowledge. And even if you don't use it, right, it just like kind of gets stored like a book in your library.
And another thing is when you have like something like that's like you can't get over the hump and you talk to them like, oh, well, I use this application. Oh, I didn't know that software was out there, because you know now there's like 100 softwares for Amazon. You're like, oh, well, this software now is gonna help me, you know, fix my issue, and now I know about the software because you use it. That's why you want to surround yourself with other Amazon people, or you know, or learn from the best.
Yeah, there's like a saying that there's things you know, right? And then there's the thing, if there was like a pie chart, there's like the things you know you don't know. But the biggest part of the pie chart is like the stuff you don't know, right? And the stuff you don't know, like you don't know that until you like talk to someone, they bring it up and you're like, okay, now I know I don't know that. So, and then you figure out like, hey, should I go down this lane and try and learn it? Or should I hire someone that already knows it? Or, just depends. So that's part of the learning. You just gotta learn.
I completely agree. And
reinvesting your money back into maybe hiring someone that already has better experience than you in that is specific criteria.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I mean, I think like, say, backtrack a little bit, like growing from 500 to 5 million, right? It's like similar things like that. But like the stuff that got you to 500,000 is not always going to get you to like 5 million, right? And I think another big thing too, like you have to get really comfortable with is like failing. There's been plenty of times in my business where I've done like the dumbest shit where, for example, in like when I was selling in Canada, they changed the tax rules now, but like I didn't put like _tax as the tax code. And so I wasn't collecting sales tax. So like all of a sudden I like owed all this money to the Canadian government that I did not collect. I was like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, right? So that happened. And then like the other year I burned like 40 grand on just like PPC ads because I wasn't really paying attention to like my ACOS and like all this other shit was going in my business. And I didn't have like daily limits on like ad spend. So shit like that happened. You know?
Yeah.
My God. And I agree with you. Like I've failed so many times. And interestingly, it's kind of like when you fail, you learn something, but also as well, like Chris was saying, surrounding yourself with the right people. And you, like you said, you don't know what you don't know. And then they can say, hey man, have you thought about this? I didn't even know I could do that. That's incredible.
Yeah, exactly.
Anthony, you talked about it, events, really, you took Chris to some events. Can you name some events that you've been to, the things that you recommend if someone was looking to attend some?
I would say like some of the thing is like some of the events that I say, like I don't even attend anymore, but in the beginning they were like good for my journey. So there's
Houston. With Trevor.
But he doesn't have the Houston.
We had an Amazon Facebook group, which actually he started, right?
I didn't start. I helped like
you helped start
eventually.
So that was our first one.
Yeah. So that was I met people in my local area first, and then I realized I was like, oh, there's conferences.
There was this one
in Vegas.
There was this one chick.
Or in a few weeks.
Sorry, there was this one chick from that group that we met, and she was like, "Oh, I go to freaking Nordstrom or Zara and buy all these things." I was like, "Oh, okay, I didn't know you could do RA over there." But like, just going from those meetups is where you get
a lot of juice. But example of like a conference would be like Prosper.
Yeah.
But right now, I think if you're in private label, especially, and wholesale too, I think MDS, $1 million sellers, is like the best one. Have you heard of that?
I've heard of it. I've not been.
Yeah,
we've been to Cancun. We've been to Costa Rica. We've been, and it's all expense for because it's business. And you're surrounding yourself with 100 members that do over $1 million.
Yeah, and there's some like big
and there's some big boys there,
and it's cool. And it's like, oh, you're like, okay, it's like easier to talk shop and not at the office or like somewhere fucking beautiful. And everyone's having a great time. So. I mean, it's a lot of play, but that's usually what leads to like being able to have these comfortable discussions where it's like, oh, this is what you do in your business. This is what I do in my business, And that's where you like just trade stuff. And, sometimes like one tip, right? Even though like the event might cost like 5,000. Yeah, one golden nugget might change your business.
And then I had to support him one time. He spoke at a conference in Canada. Remember that one?
Yeah, we did go.
That was a good one.
So speaking at events too is actually really useful. You never realize like how like much maybe further along you might be than the next guy, right? The fact that if you're watching this and you made it to like 500,000 or $1 million already, that's like more than like 99% of what people like have ever gone to.
Yeah.
Right. So you should be proud of that. And there's other people like looking to get to where you are and whatnot. So I mean, we were all there at one point.
Agreed, 100%. And even 500,000 is a great place to be because when you start, 500,000 is like, oh my God, that sounds so much.
Yeah.
When were you at 500? Like when did?
Not long ago, probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. Like I remember, so last year we did 2.2 billion. The year before we did like 500,000.
Wow.
Yeah,
so
like 4x in 1 year. It's
very
incredible.
Nice. And what was the reason behind that, looking back in hindsight?
We just really understood the model. Like we got very, very clear about exactly what we were trying to achieve and what the very key KPIs were in that. And in my business, quite frankly, it was spend all the money. I don't care what you have to do. Get the money out of the bank, get into stock. And then once you've done that, the next question is now get that stock sold as quick as possible and churn it. And then you just ask lots of other questions like staff, logistics, et cetera, and more problems. But once you start solving them, it's like, wow, this thing's really taking off. And you see my revenue, it's like up, up, up.
And that's like another thing, like you just said, right? Solving things, right? And we had this discussion like the other night where it's like in business, they're just nonstop problem solving, So
you got to look at a problem and be like, cool, I like this. I like challenges. Not, oh my God, not another one.
I mean, sometimes I feel that way. Not every problem is equal, right? Right?
Some of them are like,
I need a coffee before I deal with this problem, or something.
I'm like, oh, I hope there's a video on YouTube so I can kind of like get some feedback. Like, trying to learn a bit,
100%.